Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Searching for Sports Cards. Today I want to just take a quick break from the Retail RIP series, Building Our PC Through Retail, and talk about card grading. It's a topic that I have very mixed feelings about. Understand, if you're a card flipper, what the benefit is of sending a card into PSA, getting a Gem 10. That's the best way to maximize the value of the card. I don't particularly enjoy the PSA slab, so when I do grade, I almost exclusively go with SGC. I enjoy their tuxedo. I think, especially with vintage, the black border is an incredible eye appeal. Here's a good example of a card that I think is appropriately graded. It's a 5.5 on the 75 tops. If we zoom in, you'll see that corner is really tough up there. And then we do have just a little bit of edge wear that doesn't show up as significantly through the plastic in the slab as it does when the card was raw. But overall, and then if we look at the back of this card, you can just see the centering on this thing left to right is not real good. And it also sits a little low on the back. So that's why this card obviously came back a 5.5. So we know the benefits of eye appeal. We know the benefits of added value. What are some of the drawbacks to grading cards is probably a question worth exploring. And I'm going to use this card as a perfect example of what I think is the classic undergrade. This thing came back, this is the 77 Topps Andre Dawson rookie card, come back a 4. If we look at these two cards side by side, I would argue that this card is equal or better to this card, but the grader gave it a 4, so you're a little bit subject to the feelings of the grader when it gets submitted, and you just got to kind of live with the results on that, right? But if I was going to flip this card, I would care a lot more because it would potentially cost me money. But because I'm never going to get rid of this Andre Dawson rookie card, it's fine. I can live with it. But it is a drawback. The undergrade can be a real problem. Another problem with the SGC slab, in my opinion, is its durability. Here's two cards that got knocked off of a little table. It wasn't even anything major. The dog bumped the table. The cards fell. They hit the floor. I have luxury vinyl plank upstairs, and both of these slabs cracked. It's terrible on this card because it's on the front. This is a 78 Topps Andre Dawson Gold Cup. This is a beautiful card. It has great eye appeal, relatively well centered. Corners are really sharp on it for a 78 Topps, honestly. The problem with this card is the back is so poorly centered. That's what really held it back from probably getting a 7.5, possibly an 8. We probably lost a full point on that back. But the front eye appeal of this card is spectacular. It's less spectacular with this big giant crack in it. With the 83 Fleer Sandberg, it's got a minor centering issue. It came back a 9. It is what it is. This one, fortunately for me, it broke on the back, and you're never really displaying the back of the card, right? It's going to sit on a stand, and it's going to sit there, and it's going to look beautiful in that slab. But the durability does concern me, and I should probably look into this a little more and see if there's something that PSA can do, if they can give me a discounted rate to reslab these two cards. Maybe I'm just stuck with them. I don't really know. But the durability is a huge concern for me. The cost and the durability. The other drawback I think that we're starting to see in the grading industry now too is one parent company owns 2 out of the 3 biggest grading companies. PSA and SGC are under the same umbrella. Makes it really difficult on the collector. SGC is starting to implement some of the PSA policies with the upcharges and things that they didn't used to do, so that's a big drawback as well. But I think still, if I have the right card and I care enough about it and I want to preserve it, I still don't have necessarily an issue with sending to SGC. I'm just going to be a little more selective going forward with what I send. So the question becomes, what are the alternatives to storing your cards if you're not going to slab them up? I don't personally use binders. I don't like them. I don't think over the length of time they're great for the condition of the cards. You can get some dents in them, and the rings will sometimes cause some issues. So I'm not a binder guy. So I'll go through how I store some of my other cards with you guys, and then I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments to chime in with what you guys think. So a basic card like this is just an Ian Happ parallel. It's the 87 Topps parallel. There is nothing significant to this card other than I collect Cubs players, so it gets a penny sleeve and it stays in my dedicated Cubs box. I'm not going to really display this card, even though it does look pretty good. It's just not something I'm going to put out on the stand on most days. So from there, the next option that I use a lot is this. I'll take this Ultimate Warrior right here. This is a green parallel. This is a great card for me personally. It just kind of takes me back to my childhood. I think on front we're relatively well centered. This is not a card that I would submit for grading even if it was a 10, but the back is a little off center, which would hurt it if I sent it in. It's maybe worth $1. I don't know. I've never even looked into it to see what it's worth. I just enjoy the card, so it stays out on display in the Beckett Shield. If I'm not using a Beckett Shield, my next option, we'll take a look at this Cody Rhodes. This is a favorite of mine and my kids. We like to watch WWE. We like to rip the cards together. So this is Cody Rhodes putting his finishing move on my son's favorite wrestler, who's Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And it's an orange parallel, so it lives in a top loader with a team bag, and it stays out on the stand where we can both kind of come down here and enjoy it when we want to. So I think the top loader like that is a great way to go. And then the other option that I run with is just a black one touch. I think the black one touch can do some cards a lot of justice. Like here's an 83 Topps. It's off-centered. It's a Ryan Sandberg rookie, one of my all-time favorite Cubs players. So this is an important card to me personally. Again, not super valuable, but I think it looks great in the black one touch, front and back. Good looking card, and I do think the black one touch kind of ups the eye appeal. Here's another example of one in a black one touch. This is a Cole Kmet. This is out of Select. This one could probably 10 if I submitted it. I don't think a 10 brings it enough value. I just personally collect Cole Kmet based on the fact that he's a Notre Dame guy. He's a Chicago Bears guy. He's easily approachable in the hobby because he's not too expensive. So it's a fun one for me. Would a 10 bring a lot more value to this card? I don't think so. I think it looks great in the black rookie card one touch. So those are kind of my main ways of storing my cards. I have some concerns with the direction that the grading industry is going on the whole. So I'm just always looking for good ways to display my cards, and I'm kind of curious to see what you guys are doing with yours. So drop a comment down below. Let me know how you store some of your favorite cards, and we can talk about it. See how everyone else feels about the direction of the grading industry. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you on the next rip.